Hey everybody, Randy here. So this is a new video series that I'm starting. This is the first episode of what I'm calling the Disruption Diaries. So unlike Taco Bell, it shouldn't disrupt you internally. What we're talking about is things that might disrupt the gun community as far as new products that I'm very interested in. I kind of nerd out about this stuff, whether it be optics, ammunition, firearms, things like that. And there's definitely some new things coming out that I don't have my hands on yet. I would love to get my hands on and try. I reached out to a few companies hoping that there's something that maybe I could just test something and send it back down the road, but we'll see. But I wanted this video to kind of make everyone aware of these products and get them, not specifically get you interested in, but take a look, and if it's right for you, if it fits you, maybe keep an eye on them. So companies we're going to talk about and the products we're going to talk about coming out here, just to break this into chapters so that if you only want to hear about a few things, you can do that. But Q Sugar Weasel is going to be first up, and then we're going to talk about Archon Firearms and what they're bringing to the U.S. market now that they've kind of restructured a bit. Some new offerings from Lead and Steel that are on the way. Noveske's coming out with something soon. I've been waiting for it for a while, so we'll talk about that as well. But to get us started, let's talk about the Q Sugar Weasel. And apparently there's a plane that's landing right now. But the Q Sugar Weasel, so I know of Q. I heard of the Honey Badger, everyone has. But I kind of wrote him off because I was never really interested in the Honey Badger. I thought it looked cool, but for me, like, it doesn't fit any of the situations that I was like interested in. I appreciate it, but it's like a $3,400 gun with a ton of proprietary parts on it, and for a very specific purpose, one that I wasn't really that interested in at the time. But I just saw James Reeves' new video, the TFB TV one, about the Sugar Weasel, and now I'm interested in that because I think it is going to shake up the market. I think he called it market disruption as well. When I heard the price of this thing, I was like, damn. They know what they're doing. They're going to crush some people, because the Q Sugar Weasel is essentially just like their 5.56 or 300 blackout carbine with like pseudo mil-spec parts. So it's going to fit a lot of different things. You're not going to have to worry about the proprietary parts that the Honey Badger has. This thing has an adjustable gas block, which is a huge feature because right now more people than ever are shooting suppressed. And there's not really a lot of guns under that 2,000 mark that give you a chance to tune your gun for a suppressor. So that's a huge, huge thing. I just did a video on Type A, and to get adjustable gas blocks with Type A, you're looking at like $1,800, $2,000 at least on some of their guns to get all their features. So the Q Sugar Weasel has an adjustable gas block. They've removed the forward assist, which I absolutely love. I don't understand why a forward assist is needed. Grant Thumb did a video. You can just press the side of the bolt carrier. That's why they're, I don't know if that's why, but there's a little cutout there. You just push on it with your thumb. It'll move forward if it's going to move forward at all. So I love the forward assist removal. It's got great colors. It looks really cool. As far as their color scheme, they've always done a good job with that. It's got a cherry bomb muzzle brake on it, which I'm not sure, I've heard mixed reviews on, but at the same time, underneath that cherry bomb is a tapered barrel. So if you're looking at getting like a CGS can or something like that, your barrel will already be tapered. You can direct thread that thing, and you're off to the races. So very, very cool. It also comes with their literally the best trigger ever, which is what they're calling it. Looks like a nice trigger. By all accounts, it's a good trigger. You get a Radian charging handle. You get an ambi safety on this thing. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, and it's coming in at $1,500. That's the thing that blew me away. This is a gun with stainless steel barrel. Sure, it's not going to last as long as a chrome-lined hammer forged barrel or anything like that, but do you need it to? Most people aren't shooting that much, and with the stainless, you're getting better accuracy. So you're going to get a gun that's very accurate out of the box with good QC standards, tunable for a suppressor, with a good trigger, None of the extra forward assist stuff, ambi safety, good furniture, looks great, all that stuff for $1,500. That kind of blew me away, that price point. I was expecting like $2,200, but $1,500 definitely causes market disruption. Why? Because you're essentially getting a more suppressor-ready gun than a BCM, than a Daniel Defense, than a lot of this stuff that's out there. Sons of Liberty Gunworks, like, you know, they make these guns so that they run without cans. So the second you put a can on there, even if you have a low back pressure can, there's still some back pressure. So that's where, if you have an adjustable gas block, you can tune that, and then you're not getting extra gas, you're not beating your gun up. Like, it's very intriguing. So Sugar Weasel, stay on the lookout for that. If you're interested in that sort of thing, shooting suppressed, not spending a ton of money, and still having a good time with things, I would say check out that Sugar Weasel. Especially one of the things that Q really does well, I think. Look at their 300 blackout versions. Their barrel twist is great for subsonic. So they get down to 1 in 5 for their barrel twist, where other companies are still doing 1 in 7, 1 in 8, stuff like that. Where that might be enough for most subsonics, but it's not ideal for like those 220 grain subs. That 1 in 5 really helps them stabilize. So yeah, check out that Q Sugar Weasel. Next up, we have Archon Firearms. So if you're familiar with Archon, they brought together kind of like when Arsenal came out with the Strike 1, Archon came out with kind of the variation of that, like a carry gun called the Archon Type B, which you could get them. I've seen a lot of videos on them because I've been interested in it, but it's got kind of like a different locking lug inside of it that keeps the barrel very low bore axis, very pleasant recoil impulse by all accounts. Their grip texture was a little off and they didn't have optics plates, but Archon just released a video. They're coming to the US, and they're coming to the US in a big way. They're updating their models. So now they're gonna have models that are optic ready. They're gonna have models that are suppressor ready. And one of the coolest things that I think I've seen on a gun, I feel like they're doing it right. I hope that I can get my hands on this one of these days. But you can take the grip and the back strap. They have back straps that control the length of it, as well as little front pieces that control the length of the grip. So you don't have to buy a different grip, like base grip. You just change it, compact to full, compact to full. You can just take the pieces off. So it's really cool. And they come textured with, I believe it's Talon grips, the rubber. Like, they come textured with that already. So they're gonna have a great texture. They have the Type B coming back, which has kind of their different slide cut where it dips in the front. And they have something new called the Type D coming out, which is a more conventional looking slide, but still the same Archon kind of internals, locking mechanism, everything like that. So really, really excited. Want to see what price point these things are going to be coming in at. But if they're optics ready, if they have that kind of grip on them that you can change, they're very, very appealing, especially without using the Browning tilt mechanism. So something new, something interesting to look out for, and looking to try. So next up, we have Lead and Steel. And Lead and Steel is a company that I'm very familiar with. I own 2 of their Promethean red dots. I think they're amazing sights. They have an amazing price point. They're pretty much the most durable thing on the planet when it comes to these red dots. They're doing a lot of cool stuff over at Lead and Steel. I know with those HM monoblocks, some other cool technology. Well, they've announced that they're coming with their version of an LK Spectre, which, if you're familiar with, Garand did a video, and it's kind of an old school sight, but it's pretty legendary in being like absolutely destruction proof on this thing. So it's essentially a bomb proof optic that you're able to switch from like 1 to 4 with just a flick of a toggle switch, which makes it very appealing if, you know, you're looking to take things at that intermediate or kind of a little further range, but you also want to be able to work up close. If you're into building like these prepper post-apocalyptic kind of builds, it's probably the best optic you can get for that. So if Lead and Steel comes out with their version, and I'm sure it'll be at a much better price point, that's something that's going to shake the market up quite a bit, I feel like. The other thing they're doing, which is I'm really, really excited for, is they're releasing their own line of pistol lights. So I'm a big fan of Cloud Defensive so far, but I'll be dead before their pistol light comes out, I feel like. Like, it's going to take like 50, 60, 100 years, whatever it might be. We're tired of waiting for it. Lead and Steel is coming out with their versions of pistol lights, and what's really appealing to them is they have common footprints. So it looks like, from what I saw, the X300, as far as their full-size pistol light. So that makes it compatible with all these holsters right out of the box, which is a huge win, I think, for them, because I really like my Holosun PID. I think it's a great light. It's got great switches. It's got great features. Love it. I absolutely love it. But the holster compatibility is really rough with that thing right now. There's a few makers out there, but it's not really ones that I've been interested in or that appeal to me on how I carry. So that light, you know, sits on my kind of bedstand gun. But if Lead and Steel is going to make good quality lights, which I'm sure they will, and they're going to fit current holsters, that's going to be a huge disruption to the market. We're going to see some interesting things out there, especially they're talking about a TLR 7 size light, which is kind of the only light right now that I would trust with subcompacts as far as things. I got this Olight as well that I'm still kind of testing, and it's not doing great, long story short. So, you know, sorry to the Olight fans out there, but it's just not holding up the way that I'd expect. So yeah, this Lead and Steel pistol light could really shake things up, as well as the LK Spectre. And then lastly, let's talk about something that I've been waiting for a while. If you guys follow Slade and Irregular Defense, SC Irregulars, anything like that, you know that Noveske is worked with Slade to create kind of the Chainsaw series, as well as his own upper. So why am I so excited about this? One, I think Slade does great stuff. I love his grips, everything like that. I love watching like his old videos, that sort of thing. I think he's a great guy in general. But I think even better is he understands like the gear and why you'd want to do certain things. Like, he has a deep understanding and can explain it very well on why he does certain things. So the gun is essentially an 11.5 mid-gas that's basically tuned for his suppressor, which is the CGS SEI 6, that scored pretty well over at Pew Science. If you're not following Pew Science, you need to. That should be your one-stop shop for silencer ratings and that sort of thing. But it scored pretty well. The other thing it does is, with that mid-length gas, it doesn't beat your gun up. If you get the right size gas port working with that, on that shorter dwell time, you get a great recoil impulse, as well as you're not getting a ton of gas back at you. It's a very pleasant style to shoot. So that's why lately you've been seeing a lot of these 12.5 gases, or I know that Mr. Recce on Instagram posted like I think it was like a 14.5 or a 16-inch rifle gas system. So they're trying to fit these larger gas lengths on smaller barrels where you have shorter dwell time. But if you've drilled things right, you put the right gas block on there, you're going to have a more pleasant recoil. You're going to have less gas to the face, especially if this upper is more tuned to that suppressor, which is something that I hope a lot of companies start doing, is getting some way to tune these uppers for suppressed shooting. Because I know it was years ago, but Daniel Defense used to be pretty brutal as far as suppressed shooting. I think they've figured out their gassing a little bit better, but it's still a gun. Most of these guns are still designed to run without suppressors. And so when you put a suppressor on there, even with a low back pressure can, you're still getting some of this gas back to you. It's still affecting, you know, the wear rate and things like that. And I mean, no one wants cancer or to breathe in toxic chemicals and to have their guns wear out faster, maybe break sooner. So it's kind of the start, I think, of companies getting more suppressor focused, as far as, you know, if you're not offering an adjustable gas block, the gas block and gas system that you do put on there, focusing that on suppressor use, I think is going to be a big win down the road. Suppressors are getting more and more common. We have places like Silencer Shop, Capital Armory, things like that to make kind of ease of purchase a little bit better, as well as now we have E-forms. Still don't have those wait times down to where we'd want them, but it's a little bit easier as far as the interface. So I'm really excited for that Noveske Slate offering, which it sounds like they're going to do the gun. I'm not sure if it's going to be a pistol with like kind of that current brace thing, if it's just going to be, you know, like a bare buffer tube and a pistol that they offer as far as the full firearm, because it's an 11.5. That's what he designed. There's not going to be a 16-inch Slade version, other than, you know, unless you consider the chainsaw that. But they're also going to offer the upper, as far as what they've announced. They're not going to sell the barrel on its own yet, as far as I know, but the upper itself, they're going to sell on its own. So depending on the price point, especially if it's in that chainsaw price range, it's going to be very, very interesting, because that chainsaw price range is... I'm not interested in the Noveskes that are not chainsaws right now, because I don't get it, like the price ranges and what you get as far as technology or anything like that. So that chainsaw is about the only thing from Noveske that I'd be interested in. So we'll see where this kind of Slate upper falls. So that's really everything I had in this video. I appreciate you watching this. If you nerd out about this stuff as much as I do, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you thought it was a giant waste of your time, leave a comment on that as well. I'll make another one of these videos when I feel like there's enough products on the market that kind of demand that interest. So it might not be a common thing, but when there's enough products out and I want to give you guys kind of a heads up on trends that I'm seeing or things that I'm interested in, I'll make one. So thanks for watching, and take care, everyone.